I hope you enjoy this short visual documentation of a recent residency which I hosted at Clasheen in rural Ireland. Participants arrived from Greece, the Netherlands, Denmark, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. Backgrounds were varied and disciplines included jewellery making, design, textiles, printmaking. A shared passion for a sustainable textile practice and learning new methods, exchanging ideas, etc., united all of us. And it was marvellous to be able to share my small area of rural County Carlow with everybody and spend time together. On our first day, we concentrated on getting to know each other a little bit, filling out necessary paperwork, and then starting with wet felting. When Pip wasn't rushing around outside, she could be found in the studio with us. We kicked off day 2 with a walk around the property and a look at potential eco-printing vegetation. Then we got stuck in and everybody finished their piece of flat felt. Quite a few participants had never felted before, and it was wonderful seeing their joy when soft and fluffy fibre turned into beautiful pieces of felt. Because we were going to be eco-printing, we also used cellulose embellishing fibres, as these stand out more against the background in the finished piece of eco-printed felt. There was also time on day 2 to felt some fun cords. Philippa did a marvellous job in the kitchen and kept us fed with yummy, locally produced and home-cooked food. We ate either inside or outside, depending on what the weather dictated. And she also made some of the most marvellous cakes. Her spiced apple cake was particularly delicious, and we would enjoy that with morning coffee in the mornings. On day 3, it was the turn of eco-printing. Participants rolled up their handmade felt with vegetation which was gathered from either the garden or onion skins which had been saved from the kitchen. The bundles had to be tied and rolled really, really tightly because eco-printing is a direct contact printing process. And without a tight bundle, it's not possible to get good prints. Everything was then processed in an aluminium pot for several hours, and when the pieces came out of the pot, they looked really black, as you can see from this shot here. Don't be fooled by the dark colour on the outside, however, as this beautiful piece that Joni is unrolling will shortly reveal. The vegetation following the boiling process has released its natural dye, and because we were careful to use plants that I know give substantive colour, this means that the pieces can be washed and they will stand the test of time afterwards. The colour and the prints should not fade and it should not wash out. So Joni used a selection of different leaves, but those red ones you can see there, they are Eucalyptus parvifolia. And another thing you can notice from how she chose to print this particular piece is that she folded the felt in half down a centre line, and she is now going to open it up to reveal the prints on the inside. So this is really cool. On this side, she has a mirror image. These leaves are Eucalyptus gunnii, and the variety is called Azura. Super job, Joni. The rest of the afternoon was spent opening bundles, taking time and learning from the prints that each participant achieved on their felt and silk. It's important not to rush this because you want to be able to repeat the process and get prints that you're happy with on a future occasion. And if you're not sure what leaf gives what print, this is impossible to do. On day 4, it was time to fire up my largest cast iron pot. This is an amazing pot. It contains 240 litres of liquid, and for the residency I started a fresh pot with eucalyptus parvifolia leaves, well water and some vinegar. The pot is heated by wood, so it is always wonderful when I light it and I can actually smell the eucalyptus within the pot liquid, and I can also smell the smoke that comes out the chimney. Bundles take time to process, so we made sure to get our upholstery wool into the pot before we had lunch. It's also important that the pot liquid is boiling as the bundles go in, and I like to tie the string on the outside on the handles of the pot, and that way it makes it easier to identify which piece is which when it comes to taking them out. Please be very careful if you try this at home not to give yourself a burn. Long tongs are very, very handy, and you need to also be careful with the steam from the pot because this too can give you a burn, not just the pot liquid. In the afternoon, we were joined by Fintan Phelan, who's the Cathaoirleach or chairperson of Carlow County Council, and Seamus Doran from the local enterprise office. It was great that they were able to make it when everybody's bundles were coming out of the pot, because it was really exciting then seeing all the absolutely beautiful prints being revealed. Unbundling is such a magical stage in the process. It's always really fascinating to see how different people's pieces are, even when everyone has access to the same materials at the beginning. With eco-printing in this natural way, without using traditional powdered mordants, the metal composition of the pot or the pipe, both of those play a part in the resulting colours. So sometimes during the week people chose copper pipes and other times they chose cast iron pipes. Each pipe would give a different end result. Once the bundles were opened, all the participants were really keen to have a chat with Fintan and Seamus to say thanks for joining us, thanks for supporting the residency, of course, and I'd like to say a personal thanks for considering asking me to actually host this. It was a marvellous, marvellous experience. And here you can see participants on our final day. We all assessed the work that had been completed to date, as well as actually sharing resources and putting some paper in the eco-printing pot. So while the paper was processing, people made notes, we discussed future ideas, we looked to see which vegetation was working the best, and I answered questions about the different processes. And it was just another opportunity to network and think and plan for the future. After a delicious lunch, when Philippa joined us, it was time for one quick photo with her. Then we went back up to the studio and opened the paper bundles. These were our final eco prints of the residency, and it was beautiful just to see each and every one of them come out of the pot. If you're interested in learning more about eco printing or wet felting, why not check out my playlists on my YouTube channel? And if you like what you see, do hit that subscribe button. I'd like to thank Kieran, Melissa, Seamus, Jim, and Amy from Carlow Local Enterprise Office, who coordinated the CraftHub project and invited me to host a residency, and Fintan Phelan and Carlow County Council. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Finbar O'Rourke for some beautiful photography.